Hi guys, welcome back to this week's episode. Yeah, as you saw in the intro, this week I finally get to the pop culture sets that I've been meaning to do in a video for the last couple of weeks, or probably the last month or so. But every time there's something else that pops up, and I think, oh, okay, well this is new. Let's get that out of the way first. I can probably still do another video about those pink cool combis deal that I did last week. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I did manage to pick up a couple of extras as well, so I think I've got my full at the moment. I haven't actually checked this week how quickly they've sold, but I'm hoping everybody out there got theirs. For my South African viewers, I hope you had some. So if they weren't in stock at your Toys R Us, I hope that the fellow collectors hooked you up. But yeah, let's get on to the pop culture. It feels like this video might run a bit longer because I tend to waffle on about this subject. But anyway, okay, Hot Wheels pop culture. I've actually always liked the pop culture sets. The Hot Wheels used to have, and this is only a recent development that have sort of melted together. Used to have pop culture series, and then they had the entertainment series. Which I think started out as the retro entertainment series. So pop culture featured anything from, if I think about the earlier ones, anything that sort of where brands got involved. They would have serials, they would have cartoons, they would have movie series, comic books, like really anything pop culture related or that featured brands. And then the cars that they'd use usually would either back then they'd use rather large cars, so usually vans that would give you your most real estate for brands to get involved and get sort of some advertisement onto the cars in the pop culture series. So you'd have your A100s, your VW vans, Chevy panels, the drag buses. Those are your sort of your staple. The bread box, that sort of thing. Tended to be not it wasn't the hero cars. So the hero cars themselves, so cars and vehicles featured in pop culture movie series, games, whatever, they tended to be reserved for the retro entertainment series. So they would feature the movie cars, the DeLoreans, and the cars from the Need for Speed movies, or the Need for Speed movie, and also the Fast and Furious movies. The James Bond cars, the Back to the Future, the additional cars, call it the supporting cars. So they'd be sort of separated that way. And I always tended to I didn't really like the retro entertainment stuff. That didn't really appeal to me. But I liked the pop culture stuff. I liked the series that they partnered with, whether it be comic book series, cartoon series, movies, whatever. So I didn't mind the fantasy castings, and some of them actually did have proper license models as well. So I've picked my favorites. I picked the ones that were relevant to me. So child of the 90s. A lot of these shows and brands and so on featured heavily during the 90s. So I have sort of a personal connection. That's how I get to the secret behind a good pop culture series or set or car. From Hot Wheels' perspective, is they have to strike a balance between something that they can sell, but that would also appeal to somebody and or appeal to a broad audience. So they have to marry those two. We just demand cool stuff or brands or series or movies or whatever featured on Hot Wheels, but we do have to remember that they have to make cars that they can actually sell. So that's we can't always expect them to make like an obscure car from a certain movie or set. They'd have to balance it with something that they like the pop culture sets of old. They had existing castings that they sort of a stock series of cars that they use that offered them the most real estate, and also they had the castings, they had the tools, didn't have to make hero cars or specific cars featured in movies, but they could sort of wrap them in a brand or a series or a set. That's how we sort of the secret behind, I think, a good pop culture set is you have to tap into the nostalgia as well. They have to be able to, yes, have the cars available, yes, have the tools available, but they still need to sell each series of pop culture cars. So nostalgia is that thing that ingredient that they need to add that makes a successful pop culture. And the ones that I picked has that ingredient for me. And it's, people of different ages, collectors of different ages will have other areas that they prefer, other cars, other series that they prefer. So I picked at random stuff that I have. These are probably my favorites. The ones I didn't feature are the ones that I featured in a previous video, where I had the comic book cover and then the matching Hot Wheels pop culture car with that. That's a good example of something that's well executed. It's very cool, but I didn't have a personal connection with those cars, but I liked the way that they executed them. So there's that. So if you can't tap into the nostalgia, then you have to be sure that you can sell the cars to people that don't have a personal connection to it. Okay, anyway, that's my intro. Let's start with the cars. I'll give you a short. You all would have seen some of them. I'll try and it's a mix of new and old cars. Let's start with just the one in front of me. This is actually one where I love the casting. I love the car. I love the color. I love the card art. It's the Phantom. So if you have a look at the back. I've kept them in their protectors. These are the official Hot Wheels protectors, the premium protectors that are on sale on the website now. I thought I'd keep them in the protectors to remind you. If you are in the market for genuine protectors, these are sitting off the Mattel Creations site at the moment. Very cool stuff. I love the purple. And so my connection with the Phantom is I first got exposed to the Phantom in the comic strip form. We had a Sunday paper that had a sort of digest with it, and they ran the Phantom comics for years. They actually had it translated to Afrikaans, but it's only when I was quite a bit older that the TV series, what was it, the Phantom 2049 or 2047? I'd have to look that up, but I'll flash a quick clip of it, where actually that was sort of a remake of the old, because the Phantom comics are ancient. I mean, they're very, very old, the comics and the strips themselves. So you can see, this one was very much a comic strip theme, what with the Flash Gordon and the Felix the Cat and Popeye the Sailor Man. So classic comic strips featured in this set. This is one where I actually really like the car. They did use the Volkswagen fastback quite a bit back in the day. We haven't seen it a lot recently. Trying to think where was the last time we saw it. Would probably have been in I'm thinking Car Culture with the Moon Eyes livery. That's sort of the last one that I can recall. But anyway, that's be that as it may. It used to be quite popular. I think it's very underrated casting. They can surely get back on that one. Okay, the next two go hand in hand for obvious reasons. So if you're sort of my age, maybe slightly older as well, you'll remember Mad Magazine. yeah, sort of a pop culture slash comic book that poked fun at various, what would you call it, newsworthy or entertainment news, and sort of made fun of anything from movies to politics to you name it. They had a poke at it, and they had a comic strip running all of the years that had these two spies pitted against each other, the black spy and the white spy. And I think this is pretty cool. When I saw this a couple of years ago, this is a couple of years old, 2017. Okay, so a couple of years old, but a great set, and obviously Dodge A100. I wasn't going to miss out on that. Actually picked up these quite recently, probably 3 or 4 months ago. Recent acquisitions, but they've been around for a while. And while I'm on the A100, I actually picked this one up just before we left for our Cape Town trip. So this was my pocket ride for the Cape Town trip. Also from the second series of Peanuts, the second pop culture set. The first one being the one that had that Zamac Chevy panel and the yellow custom convoy. This one was the favorite from the second series. Brilliantly executed. One of my all-time favorite castings with deco, and the wheels are perfect. The deco is perfect. It comes from a time with the deco not the same on each side, so it differs. So lately you don't get that a lot anymore. That rattling sound in the background are the kids' pet birds making a mess during the night in their cage. So the perils of filming in the middle of the night. Okay, so Peanuts, loved the comic strips, loved the cartoons, the movies. I was a huge Peanuts fan. Had most of the books as well, like the digests of comic strips put together. That's probably one of my all-time favorite comic strips. So that one was a must get. I've got it carded somewhere, but I got the opportunity to pick one up in fairly mint condition and loose, and there we go. Okay, so I've done Phantom, these two. Something that's very new. I only picked this up last week from one of the very latest pop culture sets. I think it is from the latest pop culture set. You can also see by the yellow or the gold logo at the top, it's the latest set. The Turtles van, not the Turtles van, but the drag bus. Lots of real estate for the artwork. It's Eastman and Laird's take on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and this is to celebrate 40 years of Ninja Turtles. That means that they've been around for almost as long as I have, which is incredible. 40 years of the Ninja Turtles. But there's been such a mainstay for probably so many generations. I've watched the show, the movie. I grew up in a time with when those live action Turtles movies came out, and those were great at the time. I loved it. I was just probably the absolutely perfect target audience, and age demographic. So that would explain it. But so Turtles, I think a couple of people will probably join me in saying this is right up there. Hits you right in the nostalgia, that one. And then a bit of an obscure one. I mentioned that they also did cereals in some of their pop culture sets. So this one is from the General Mills cereals line. Cool cars. Cool cars, cool deco. But very American. We didn't have any of these here, but again, this I love the design. I love the van that they used. I love the card art where they have the whole, like, the cereal box cover on the card art, and the way this I have a connection with this is we didn't get any of these cereals here, but we all know the cereals because they featured in full page ads in comic books, or on the back cover in full color glossy ads. So most comic books had some sort of cereal ad or game ad on the back cover. So even though we didn't ever see these, I mean, we all know what Lucky Charms are, Count Chocula, Tricks, we all know. So even though we never got these cereals here, the brand it's such an iconic advertisement. Anybody that picked up a comic book during the 80s, 90s will obviously know these quite well. So yeah, that's what I like about these series. You know, you don't always realize that there's a nostalgia to it. There's a connection to it. And then the last one I had to smuggle into the house without my wife seeing, because she would have thrown it out as quickly as I smuggled it in. Your favorite Mr. and Mr. Beavis and Butthead. Love these guys. Yeah, they always joke that when they talk about music and good stuff, back in the day when there was still music on MTV, I'd add these two to the mix as well. Music and Beavis and Butthead on MTV. It's such an iconic duo. It's just one of those. I mean, you don't need to like the characters to appreciate the impact they had on just sort of music shows in general, and the just the throwback to that era where the world was a bit more rude and a bit more gritty. The world wasn't as soft as it is today. So yeah. Yeah, I'll have to keep this one under wraps, but yep, there you go. Mr. Beavis and Butthead. I tuned into these two. I think they had a show, or their show was broadcast here on our terrestrial channels. If I'm not mistaken, it was Sunday nights and I think Friday nights, but late, very late. So they'd have that show where they just sit. I mean, it wasn't really a cartoon, that it featured mostly music, but they'd have little snippets in between, so there'd be sort of a short-ish cartoon connected to it, but they'd mostly just review the music as they went along. And I had had the show on cassette tape as well, with just music and then with the intros and outros between the tracks. So yeah, nice slice of 90s nostalgia there. And yeah, it's cool. Card they picked was the Pack and Pacer. It's a good choice for the era, and yeah, I think with the card art and the deco on the car, it didn't really matter. It didn't have to have anything to do with the show, the vehicle. They really could have picked anything. What you will have noticed, or maybe not, is that I have 7 cars here. And just to my point about real estate, of the 7 cars I have here, 5 of them are vans. So vans very much a favorite for pop culture, where there's a bit more real estate on the cars themselves, just for, you know, the brand's sake or the collaborator's sake, to get as much printing and as much advertising and exposure on them. But yeah, so that's my pop culture picks. So these are my personal ones. I'd actually love in the comments section if you leave a few examples of what you find or found to be things that appeal to you, pop culture sets that appeal to you specifically, and why. I mean, these are these really are parts of my childhood and young adulthood. Things that it's the sort of thing that it'd be difficult to pass on to your kids, because some of these names and cartoons and comic books, magazines, whatever, they're not around anymore, and it's sort of a bygone era now, even though it's not that long ago. Some of this doesn't even exist anymore, so that's why we hang on to these as well. It's a link to our past, and so we should. But let me know what you find in the pop culture series. What do you find appealing? What cars do you prefer? Throw me some examples, and hope to hear from you soon. Okay, that's it for this week. Keep well. Next week, I think I'm going to do a quick feature on the upcoming NFT Garage, the Series 9. The announcement was made, I think yesterday, day before yesterday. I had a quick look at the redeemables, the physical cards in the NFT series. There are going to be some bangers in this one. It seemed a little less tame than the one we had, the set that we're currently in, Series 8. Some of them are a bit boring and not to everyone's taste, but there's something for everyone in the new series, I'm sure. Might have a look at that quickly. Okay, keep well. See you again next week. Cheers.